Good evening, guys. Welcome back. Good evening, guys. My name is Angel, and we are here to to learn about the React JS and the Tailwind JSON. In the last lecture, we have covered something basics of React, like how to make the React project with the help of the Create React app and with the help of the Build project. And it's a very long time that we have started that, so we will be taking a short revision of all the things, and we will be going forward in our sessions today. So I'm going to start this. So first of all, the question arises: why do we need the React? In fact, we can do all the things with the help of the HTML and CSS. Why when we need the React to make this? Please. Yeah. So why even we need to take the React? First of all, we just need to know what is the React. The React is the open source JavaScript libraries that gives the interface to build, and it is very beneficial and gives a lot of component hooks and other type of functions so that we can make our project very easy. So the question arises: why do we need the React instead when we can use the all the things with the help of the HTML, CSS, and JS? So whenever we are using the HTML, CSS, and the JS, the thing is that whenever we are loading our pages, the whole web page will be loaded. Suppose you have the image in your web page, you have 20 images of about 500 MBs. So whenever you are reloading a particular web page, all the 20 images will be reloaded. This will make your server bulky and your code so much bulky so that it will take so much time to run your code. And what the React gives you, the React gives the only reactive components. What does the reactive component means? Basically, the reactive components means the component which are having the differences. What does the difference mean? Suppose in one paragraph you have write hello and you have changed that particular paragraph to hello world, and then only that particular paragraph will be changed or that particular component will be changed and other all the things will be remain same. So this will be very helpful for us. Why it will be very helpful? Because the only changeable component will be reloaded and all the program will be as same. So what power does our React got so that it can manipulate such type of things? We have basically discussed about what is DOM. A DOM, we can say that a document object model. Suppose you are making a particular web page, we have the div, inside the div we have h1, p tag, this tag, and this tag. So this is the DOM key of this. So React also makes its own DOM. This is known as the React DOM. And this will be comparing itself with the browser DOM. If there is some component which are not matching with the browser DOM and the React DOM, it will only replacing the unmatched part. So the problem is solved. The unmatched part will be changed and the part which is already existing will be using that. So we are so on going further. We have discussed that we can make our React project by two ways with the help of the npm create React app and with the help of the app. So in the industries, we are using Vite applications. Why we are using the Vite applications? On above of the React app. We have discussed that in the Create React app, we will be taking a lot of time to create a particular app for you. Suppose it is taking a 5 minutes, 6 minutes, with the good internet speed. But in the Vite app, you can make your projects within 1 to 1.5 minutes, approx 90 seconds. So it will be very fast. And the same thing it will be doing. And one more thing we have discussed that whenever we are making a real project, we will be having the app.js, app.css, main.js, and index.css in the source file. Whenever we are studying our folder structure of the Vite applications, these four things we are using. So now I am going to make another folder, another Vite project, and we will start doing this. So for getting, so how will we able to make our Vite projects? We have goes to tailwindcss.com. Go for that is started because we are all also using the tailwind as well in our project. So we will be using for the framework guide. And after that, we will go for the build project. What does it say? It says that just write this command in the PC. So it will we will be just using this command. So for that, we will be doing the cd dot dot. We are here in our folder of the React tailwind. I'm just pasting this command, and after the pasting, it will be asking for what will be the name of our project. What is the name of our project? The basic Wheat application, basic Wheat app. It said to select what libraries we want to use. We just want to use the React libraries. And after that, we just want to use the JavaScript. That's it. What it is saying to us what to do. It is saying just change the directories and go to our basic Wheat app. We will be just do it. After that, we will just use npmi. Okay. After getting npmi, it will be downloading all the dependencies that we want in our Wheat model or our Wheat app. So it will be taking something 10, 15 second time. So we will be giving that particular time to it. And after that, we will be setting or what we are setting, we will be just setting our tailwind. So for setting up a tailwind, we just need to copy this two commands and we just need to write that particular commands in our as the so just wait for 1 2 minutes. 1 2 minutes.
Pranjal,
Yeah.
one thing I want to ask, as I have not joined your previous session, I just want to know in your previous session, have you covered any practical stuff or just theory part?
We just made this app. You can see here. We just tried to make this particular nav hello and something source content. I will be covering this again in this session, today's session. So
Okay,
there is no worries that you have joined the previous session or not. So it is a
okay,
very long time, about 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm doing all the things as fresh. So what it
okay,
is?
okay, Pranjal, continue.
Okay, thank you. So in the basic React app, you can see all the dependencies it will be getting. So for setting a tailwind as well, so we will be just execute this particular commands in the terminal. So it will be taking some time for getting all the dependencies that we want to in our tailwind setup. So let us wait for 10 20 seconds for that. And after that, we will be starting our session for this. Okay. Uh, yeah, it is done. So let's see what are the next things it asks us to do. So it is asking that in the tailwind function.js, we have to replace the content with this particular content. So what I'm doing is copying this and I'm just closing all these things that we have made in the previous sessions. Yeah. So in this, in the tailwind function.js, this is the content and we will be just replacing this content with this and saving our. After that, it is asking that in the index.js, we just need to copy all these commands. So I'm copying all these commands. And in the index.js, where we found our index.js, we found it in the index.css, sorry. Then under the source folder. So what we want to do, we just want to so selecting all this and deleting it and just pasting this. And after that, we just want to do npm run. And here is our weight application. You can see. Yeah, this is our weight application. So let's check whether our tailwind is working or not. So in two files, we will be doing all the things. The two files are app.jsx and main.jsx. We basically do not do anything in the main.jsx. We just make our things in index.jsx. So what we want to do, we have to just remove all the things within that particular then bracket. And after that, in the H1 tag, I will be writing hello. How are you? That's it. So let's see whether I am able to get that or not. Yes, I am getting hello, how are you? And after that, what these
Anjan,
things are the knowledge space. Yeah, yes.
only your VS Code we can able to see. Output we can't able to see. I think your output is not
Okay.
rendering over.
So yeah, I am again sharing my screen. So tell me, now you can see the output.
Yes. Yes, we can see now.
Yeah. So you can see that I got let me undo all the things that I have done. So I'm just undoing all the things that I have changed here. Yeah, that's it. So we get this kind of template in the app.js. In the app.js, when you are going to see the output, this particular thing you will be seeing. Okay. So after that, what we are going to do? We just want to remove all the things and just write H1 and within the H1, hello, how are you? Let's see. Yeah, we can see it here. Yeah. So you can see it here the this kind of thing, the usage state. This is the not used system, and also we will be removing all these things that we have written. So let's see whether we can use a tailwind in this or not. For this, we can use the class. The class that we used in the HTML and CSS are same as the class name that we are using in the React project. The thing is different that the class is the reserved keyword. So we will be using the text control space. It will be giving all the suggestions that we want. Text 5XL, text white, text white, not text rainbow within the red 300 and background. What background I want to use? BG, BG black, gray, BG gray 600. So let's see that we can get it or not. Yes, we can get this particular step here. So let us understand what are the backend process that happening within this. So in the main.jsx, what it wants to do, it is just creating a particular root, create root. This is the JavaScript function. The create root function, after creating a particular root, it will what it is it want to render. It just want to render the document dot get element by ID. What ID it is giving? It is giving ID, this root, and after that dot render. What does dot render means? It will be rendering this particular step in our browser. What does the strict mode means? We don't need strict mode right now. So after removing this, still I can see my project running. And after that, I just removing this because we are taking that strict mode. And after that, let's see what is this app means. In the app, there is just a simple function. Then there's app. And after the app, we just write the return value. Within the return value, we have used this particular braces, this particular angular braces. Why do we have used? Because when we are returning something, we just need to return a one element. What does the one element mean? This particular opening and closing element is treated as the one element containing a lot of inner elements that we can write it here. You can see. So the question arises, what will happen if I will be removing this particular then? So it will be showing that there are two elements that we are. So it will be saying the adjacent GX element must be wrapped in a enclosing tag, just like this. And I don't want to use this particular tag. So what I will be using? I will be using the simple div tag. Okay. In the div tag, we will be just using this. You can see. And still after we can see this particular as the output. And one more stuff that what if we just remove this particular paragraph, and after that even we need this particular div tag or not. So what will be the answer of this? So can anyone tell me whether this will be working or not?
Yes, I think it will.
So yes or no, and if it is working then why, and if it is not working then why?
I think it will work. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah,
It
it
will
will
work
work. Why it will work?
we can because we can inject only single tag in it.
Yeah, you are right. Within a particular H1 is a single tag, so it will be working. So you can see it. So I will be just undoing all the part that I have written here. So there is a particular single element, and within the single element we have two elements, the H1 tag and, and the P tag. So the question arises that we have write app here. We have write the app here. What does the app is? The app is simply just a function. So the basic question arises that whether we can make a function here and render it. So let's try to do it. So function is add. So what is this function is returning? Let's see. This function will be returning just a single issue. Return, and within return the H1 tag. Hello, I am main. And after that, I will be just calling this in add. So let's see whether it will be working or not. It is not working because the app.jsx, the first letter of this particular function is capital. So there is one more thing that any functional component that we are making, the first letter of this should be capital. So you can see it in. So I hope up to this point everything is clear. If anyone having any doubt, you are free to ask. Guys, any doubt?
No,
You
Pranjal.
just
No.
when you were rendering multiple elements, then you used
Yeah,
a React fragment tag, and then
yeah.
again you used a div. So what is the difference between the two? Like if you
We
included
just
between a div tag and React fragment tag.
there is no difference. There is no difference. The React only wants that a function should be returning only one element. Within the one element, you can enclose or you can put many other elements. In the further videos, we will be importing many components in the app component, and within the div tag or the React segment tag, we will be enclosing that. So React just want to get the output as a single element, so that we will be using this. There is no difference. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So, so basically, in the industries, we do not use to make any changes in the main.jsx. So we will be just using this, and after that, we will be just writing app here. So uh, we will be getting after that. We make all the changes in the app.jsx. So There is one more thing. Suppose I write hello and I want to write the name such as source content. What that basically means. And within the p tag, I will be writing very basic stuff. Hello guys, only this. The output is the hello source content and the hello guys. Just the simple thing. Then the question arises that what if we want to change the source content to any other thing? So we have to hard code this particular thing as like this. So we have a concept of something variables. We will be using the let name is equal to primary, and wherever we just need to inject that variable, we just write the curly braces and name. So you can see it. So after that, the question arises: Can we can use all these things in a multiple places? Yes, we can use it in a multiple places as well. The name, the name, and after that, wherever you are using this particular name tag, you will be getting all the same value that you have right in a name tag. So it is clear up to this point. Hello.
Yes, Pranjal.
Yeah, thank you. 1 minute. Yeah. After that, let us try to import the other components from this. So we will be making the components within the component folder. Within the component folder, I am going to make a component as card.js, not j dash. This is JSX. Import React from React. Basically, this. We just do not want to do this. We just need to write a command RFCE, means React Functional Component. It will be making the functional component for you within the div tag, and after that you can write the h1 tag and the card. Let us see whether we are able to get it in the app.jsx or not. For getting this, we just need to import this particular card. So after that, I just want to use the card here. Yeah, one minute. Yeah, that's it. So the thing is clear that we can import this particular element from the other component. So what will be the use of importing this particular component in the traditional JavaScript, HTML, and CSS? Whenever we have the multiple values to render, we will be hard coding all these multiple values as it is. So if we have to render this particular card 2 times, what I will be using, whether we will be again making other component name the start to and importing this particular thing, or we just need to do like this. So you can see that 2 times card is displayed. And after that, what if I can write is 4 times? 4 times it will be displaying. So what things I can conclude from here? That the React is the library in which we can reuse the component as many as time we want. So what if I just was, and the basic question arises in this, that whenever we are opening Amazon, Amazon, So we can see all these components, this component, this component, this component, this component, this component. All these components are same. Basically, the code of this particular component are written only once. And the thing is that we have changed the content within the tag. So how we can change the content? So whenever we are using the traditional functions, we can pass the values to the function with the help of the pass by value and the pass by reference. So one more thing happens here, that we can pass something known as props or the properties to the particular function. What does the properties means? The properties basically means the key and value pairs. So what I am uh, writing here, I am writing just my name is this. So basically do it here. So for that, we will be using let name is equal to. So what we are trying to use it here? The A, B, C. And in place of card, we will be using a particular name. So let us see whether we are able to get particular thing or not. Yes, name is ABC, name is ABC, name is ABC, name is ABC. So we want that IM should be remain same and the ABC should be replaced. So what we just need to do here, I have written the my name is primary. So yeah, but it's here we can use something the props, and within the props dot name. So let us see whether we are able to get particular this thing or not. So you can see that I am Pranjal, I am nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay. So what I can do it here for that, or we can write A, B, C, or the default value that we want to write. So let us see. Yeah. So you can see it here that within the app component, the place where we have passed a particular name property to this, it will be changing to the name property, and where we haven't passed anything, it will be taking default type because of this or operator. So what we just need to do, we just need to pass the name property here. Okay. Name property here. So what I will be writing ABHAY, and the name is Shivansh. The name is Shivansh, and after that the name will be okay. Anything that you can use. Shreya. So you all can see it here. This is looking like this. So after that, we also can use the various kind of the properties within that. The properties will be class name. The class name will be the BG of this particular thing will be green, green 500. Text is white, white. Padding is 4 pixels. Margin is 4 pixels. That's it. So let us see what happened. Yeah, you can see all these things here. And after that, what I want to do it here, I just need to define this particular element as the flex, and okay, let's wrap. So let's see what will be happening. Let's wrap. Let's take 0. So not using the line items, align cent, align middle. So let's see and justify, and we will be using the justify enter. So These all things flex direction though. So let's show. Why don't it take away? So let's join only with this. But we will be fixing all these things in later section. So these all things we can do. So, oh, why do not fit? So let's take it as it is. And for making something rounded, we will be just using uh, rounded LG. So in place of writing all these things here, I just write all these things here. Why I am writing all these things in the div tag? Because the div is the main container elements which is holding the H1 tag. So you all can see it like this. P4, M4, all these things we just need to write it here. Yeah, you all get all these things. Yeah, that's it. This. So, what do we learn from this session? We learn that whenever we are going to make one component as the repeating components, or we are using that particular component in the many places, so we can use the something we know as the prompts. And one more question arises here, that it is necessary to pass something like props here. Can I do it like ABC or the values? So whether we will be able to get all these things just writing by ABC dot name. So tell me whether I will be getting this thing or not. Hello.
Pranjal, can you repeat what you have said just now?
My question is that in the previous function we have write props here, which is the by default name that all the developers are using. So can we access all the properties with the name of ABC and ABC dot name? It will satisfy our condition or not?
I think answer will be there. Matlab, it will take.
Okay,
We can
let's see. Yes, it will take all the things. The logic behind this is it is just a name, like the variable that we are passing. It don't change the logic whenever you are passing with the help of the props or any other name. The props basically we are using because in the industries we will be using the props, the properties, the by default name that the Java that our React has gave to us. This is something like this. So, guys, can you tell me whether I have more time to continue with my session or I have to bind up my session right now? Hello?
I think Suyash for today. I think Pranjal, you have done for today. Now it's I think Suyash turn to start up with his presentation.
Yeah, okay. So for the today's presentation, if you have any doubts, so please ask right now.
Pranjal, for adding the tailwind in the project, which command you have used?
Yeah. You don't bother about that. You just need to go in the tailwindcss.com. In the tailwindcss.com, you just need to go for get started and follow all these steps that it is saying to you. In the tailwindcss.com, get started, framework and guide, the weed sessions, and after that you will be getting all this.
Okay, Pranjal.
Okay, remember one thing that in the npm create wait at the rate latest only you will be using. Otherwise, if you are using the whole command, it will be making your project by the name of my project. So if you want to give the project name as the user defined name, so you just need to use this particular command npm create wait at the rate. So any other questions?
No, Pranjal.
Okay, so thank you. This is all for today.
Okay, thank you, Pranjal.
Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. And today we'll be starting with the frameworks implementation part. So, today in this session, we'll be seeing related to the collection frameworks, what we have discussed in the last particular weeks, where we discussed about hash sets, maps, tree hash sets, stack, queue, and linked hash sets. So, today we'll be seeing how exactly we'll be creating those sort of collection frameworks, and we'll know today as we are starting with the implementation part. So since we are working, we'll be designing a Spring Boot project in the upcoming days. So we need to know about the collection frameworks in detail. So we'll be discussing it from today. So let's begin it. So today's agenda, as you can see, is to discuss hash set, maps, tree hash set, linked hash set, a stack, and a queue. So let's begin it. So let's start with a hash set. So what exactly hash set means? I have explained it in the last particular week in my presentation session. So you can refer to that particular video for the explanation part. And today we'll be starting with the code part. So here's an example of a hash set coding, where you can see that I've given a program related to a hash set, where we have started the program with the help of a import java.util.hash set. This is a package that we are importing from the Java packages, and we have created a class, a public class main, where we have created a hash set that is a string that contains some string values, and the name of that particular hash set is cars. And we can see that in that particular hash set that we have created, which is named as cars, we can see that we can add different sort of values in that particular hash set, that is basically the string values. So let's see how exactly it works in our particular coding platform. So exactly we'll be copying it, and we'll be moving it to the IntelliJ ID that I most frequently use. So is my screen visible to all? Uh,
Yes,
Keshav?
it's visible.
Uh, so exactly that
Yes,
presentation part is visible, or that IntelliJ ID?
IntelliJ ID is not visible, only the presentation part.
Okay, okay. Let me stop sharing it. Yeah, so this is exactly, I think now it might be visible to all.
Yes, visible. Now you can
Okay.
continue.
So this is exactly how we are creating a hash set over here, that we have imported the class, and with the help of that class we can see that we have created a hash set that is named as hash set cars, and we have added some values in it like Volvo, BMW, Ford, BMW, and Mazda. So let's see how exactly it runs. So let me run it. it's taking some time, and then you can see that finally we are getting the output as Volvo, Porsche, and much. So one thing what we have seen is that we have two duplicate values in it. That is a BMW. And in the last particular week, when I was taking the session related to the collection frameworks, there we saw that if we are using a hash set in our as a collection framework, it has a one particular feature that it removes the duplicates value, and therefore we can see that over here we are getting the duplicate value, that is a BMW. One duplicate value has been removed, and we are getting only one BMW being displayed in a hash set. So this is the first thing that we need to know. And secondly, you need to see that in the output there is no specific order, like the hash set which we have created, we have first inserted Volvo, then BMW, then Ford. And similarly, you can see in the output, we are getting some other order. The order in which we have inserted the values, we are not getting it. So this is something what hash set is having a disadvantage sort of feature, like within itself. Like in this, the order is not maintained. So this is exactly how particularly we create a hash set in Java collection frameworks. So let's move on to the next part. And in the next part, we have covered this hash set feature. Now let's move on to the that uh, tree set part. Now let's see what exactly the tree set looks like. So this is the code that we are using that you can see for the tree hash map code. So you can see that in a tree set, we will using the given code for the practical purpose, and we have created a tree set. So don't go for that particular header, because I think I have not corrected that. It's not a map feature, it is actually a tree hash set. So I'll apologize for you all for that thing. But you can see that we have created a tree set, and it is having some string values, and the name of that particular tree set is t set. And we are adding values like geeks for practice contributes and geeks, and we are printing it using the for each loop that I talked about, that we'll be using those sort of loops features when we'll work with the collection framework. So let's see how exactly this particular code will work like, and how we'll be getting the output. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so let's move on to this IntelliJ ID purpose. Yeah. So we are finally back in our IntelliJ ID. And you can see that over here, the same particular code that I have shown you back in that particular slide, we are having the same. And now let's run it, and let's see what exactly output we are giving. The given code is giving to us. Now you can see that we are getting the output as contains contribute for geeks and practice. Now what exactly we are getting over here is that in a tree hash set, we are getting some unsorted values also in this part. Unsorted means that there is no proper order that we are getting again in this particular tree has set. But one thing which you need to again see is that again in this particular question, we were having two values that were the two strings that were common. That was the geeks that you can see in the first line and in the second line. And you can see that again in the output part, we can see that the output that we are getting, their geeks value has been removed. That is, the one duplicate value has been removed, and we are finally getting only one geeks as the final answer. So this is exactly the working part of the tree set that we are able to see right now. So now let's move on to the next part of our collection frameworks implementation part, that is now we'll be moving on to the hash map. So we can see that in a hash map we are having this particular code where we are importing the hash map from the import statement, and then we have created a hash map that is containing the key values in the form of a string and the real values in the form of a string, and we have named that particular hash map as capital cities. So let's see how exactly we'll be working with this particular code will work and will give us output. So just give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing and let me share this particular part. Yeah. So we are finally back, and we can see that the same particular code that I displayed in the previous slide. I'm showing that again to you, and you can see that we have created the same code where we have created a hash map string, and we have inserted the values. We have stored actually the values of strings within it, like in the capital cities. That is the name of the hash map. We are inserting the values, that is the key is the England, and this capital city is that is the value part is London. So we all know that in hash map we generally store the value in the form of a key value pair. So exactly this particular feature of key value pair we can see exactly over here. So let me run it and see the output. So you can see that over here we are getting the output, that is USA, Washington, DC, Norway, England, and Germany as the key value. Sorry, USA, Norway, England, and Germany as the key values. And along with that, we are having the capital cities name. Now, one thing which you might have seen is that again in this particular hash map part, the same feature that is related to uh, the consistency part related to whether which value will occur first or which value will not. We can again see that we are not able to find that thing in this particular hash map feature also, because we can see that USA Washington is coming in the first thing, then we are getting Norway, then instead of getting Germany we are getting England, and then finally we are getting Germany in the last. So this is exactly how the hash map works, although we have certain more features in hash map, but we are not discussing those features because even in hash set we have those sort of features, but we are not going with that. And the reason why I'm not covering those parts is that in this particular today's session I only wanted to show you how exactly the collection frameworks looks like, because while using these sort of collection frameworks we'll be able to understand those other features in a much better way, according to me. So I'm not discussing those things, but today we'll be only discussing related to the structure part of this collection frameworks. So we have finally seen the structure part related to the hash map, and let's move on to the next structure. So the next structure that we need to see is yes, the next structure we'll be seeing is that is a linked hash set. So we discussed about this linked hash set as well in the last session, and this is a code that you can see that we have created a linked hash set, that is HS, and we have added some string values within that particular hash set. But one thing which you can see extra over here is that we can see a import java.io package. Now what exactly this import java.io package is? So import java.io package is an input output stream that is being imported over here. So if you might have read about some buffers in Java, you might be knowing about the input output stream. And obviously, while for coding purpose, if you are using some sort of features like hash set, you might use this particular import java dot input output streams over there. So I think most probably in the next session, we'll be covering with that part also related to the streams. So there you will be understanding it in more detail. So let's see how exactly this code is gonna give the output to us. So let me copy it and I'll be pasting it over there in the IntelliJ IDE. Let me share it. Yeah, so over here we are finally having this particular code. So let me run this. Yeah. So you can see that in that particular linked hash set, we have created linked hash set that is HS, and we have added the values like geeks for geeks. And we have seen that once we have added the values and we are getting the same answer. But one thing which you can see is that similarly, one key feature which I need to tell you is that a linked hash set is a very basic implementation part of a collection framework, because we all study linked lists during a second year in DSA. And we all know that the importance of linked list while working with file structure, because linked list has a very basic implementation part over there. So similarly, linked asset is one of the most commonly used collection framework that we'll be seeing while working with Spring Boot projects, because this particular linked asset collection framework is firstly very easier to use. Secondly, we'll be able to structure our particular project structure in a well-defined pattern using this linked asset. That is the reason why programmers frequently like to use linked asset who develop project on Spring Boot related to this particular collection framework. So let's move on to the next collection framework, that is most probably, I think, gonna be a stack. Just yeah, yes. So obviously now we'll be starting with the stack, and obviously today's session will be a very smaller one. I think after stack we'll be continuing with the queue, and then we'll be finishing with all the collection frameworks that I discussed last week. But in the next session, I think we'll be covering the input output stream, and after that I have a very nice project for you all of Spring Boot, where we'll be using React plus Spring Boot for developing that particular project. And basically that particular project takes approximately 10 hours to be created, but since we have a very limited time for our meeting, so we'll be covering it in the upcoming sessions. Most probably, it will take approximately 2 months for me to complete that particular project. But once we'll complete that particular project, it will be a very nice project for you all to showcase on your profile. So it will be very beneficial for you. So let's move on to the stack code. So over here, we can see that particular stack code. That is, we have created a stack that is import java.util.stack, and the packages related to the stack we have imported it. And after that, we have created a stack that is containing some integer values. That will take the integer values, and we have named that particular stack as named as stack. And we are using a stack.push for inserting the values within the stack. And we need to check one condition, that is, while stack is empty, and we are finally printing stack.pop, that is, we are removing the values from if the stack is empty. Now in stack, basically there is two operations that we need to know, that is push and a pop. So if we need to insert some values within a stack, we'll be using push, and if we want to remove some values from a stack, we'll be using pop. So these two particular operations we are very common in while using a stack. And moreover, there are certain sort of conditions like underflow and overflow as well over there. So we'll be discussing it in the upcoming sessions as well. So let's see the how this particular code will look like. So let's copy it. Okay. Example, yeah. I think I'm getting one error over here. Yes, sorry, but actually I'm getting some error in my IntelliJ ID over here, so I won't be able to share display you the code related to that stack and queue. But let's see it over here only that we have created. We have imported the stack package over here, and we have created a stack and using stack dot push we are inserting values like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Similarly, if a person wants to remove some values related to it, so he or she can see that using stack dot pop we can remove the values from the stack. And we can the one thing which we need to know that a stack actually works in the principle of LIFO, that is last in first out. So if you are pushing one, then the topmost value, that is the last push with that we are doing is 4. So that will be on the top of the stack. And using a stack.pop feature, the value that is displayed, that is stored on the top of the stack, that is a 4, will be deleted first. So the one basic feature that we need to remember about stack is that stack is based on LIFO property. And similarly, when we'll yes in the queue, a queue data structure is a type of a data structure that is based on FIFO property, that is first in and a first out. And most probably the type of a queue that we use generally in Spring Boot is a priority queue. So now, what exactly priority queue means that in priority queue, actually some values are assigned some priority, and implementation of each of the values related to the priority queue takes place on the basis of the priority that the user or the programmer has assigned to the values. That means if a programmer has assigned a particular priority to a certain number, so then that particular number will be executed first rather than executing the number of numbers that are occurring before that particular number. So the basic part related to the priority queue is that if we'll use priority queue in Spring Framework, because there are certain sort of operations which we need to perform first rather than working on the other part. So there on we use a priority queue. So you can see that particular code over here, that is we have used import java.util.asterisk, that is we have imported all the libraries, and we have created a queue that is containing string values, and we have named that pq, and we have created a new priority queue over there. Now you can see that we have added some values like gigs for gigs, and we have printed the values in the form of SOPLN. That is, we are printing the values that we have entered within the queue, and we'll be getting the output as gigs for gigs in this particular part. Similarly, we can delete the values from the queue as well. But this is the overall structure that we have seen related to the queue and stack. So, well, this was all the structure part that related to the collection frameworks I have covered today. Although there were certain more operations that I haven't discussed over there, I have only shown you the code of the structure. We'll be discussing the other structure part also in the upcoming days. And most probably one more session I'll be taking where I'll be discussing about the streams. And after that, then most probably in the next week, we'll be starting with that Spring Boot project. That is a 10-hour long project. So that will be a much beneficial for you as that particular project will add some values to your resume. So well, that was all from my side. Thank you.
So, good evening, everyone. Wait a minute. Hmm. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Keshav, and as I am continuing with my series with of SQL, but right now, today also, I will not do the part related to SQL. I will implement second server today. In my previous session, I have implemented one server through Express and Nodemon. And like that, today also I will make one server. But today I will make you understand uh, one of the major concept of query parameters, which is actually how a client can send the data through query parameters through the server, and how the server will access that query parameters, and after accessing that query parameters, after accessing the data through query parameters, how the server will do the operation and send the result back to the client. So this is the concept that we will see today. So for making that, I will, and also we will also make the connectivity of front end with the back end. So for that, I will also make some front end part with HTML and CSS. So it will be easy for you to understand with me. So now for making that, I will firstly make a folder. I will create one folder, and here you can see. So I will create one folder. Let's say Control Shift N, and I will make the name of my folder as server calculate 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 calculate, and I will open this folder inside the VS Code. Then CMD. This is the shortcut way to open the current path inside the VS Code directly, and then after you will write like code dot and enter. So here you can see the present folder I have successfully opened inside my VS Code. I will just cross this out, and then after I will zoom it. So it will be easy for you to understand. So for creating a any of the project, so firstly we have to make the backend of that. Before, if let's say if the project is of full stack, then the professional approach is that firstly we will have to make the backend of it, and then after we will try to make the front end for that project. So this is a very professional way, and and this is the methodology that all the industry follows. So before implementing this today's agenda, I will create two folders. So first one, the folder that I will create the first is the front end, FRONT front end, and next folder that will be reside inside the server calculate. The next folder will be backend, BACKEND backend. So backend will create inside the backend we will basically create one file which is a server file, and inside the server file we will implement the basic routes through Express. And inside the front end part, there will be the three files, index.html and style.css and script.js. So that will handle basically the front end logic part. So firstly, we will see what will be there inside the backend part. So inside the backend part, we will basically creating the server through Express. So for creating the server through Express, firstly, we will have to initialize the normal folder as node folder. So for that, I will write npm init npm initialized as y as default. So it will create one package.json file, and I will do cls to clear the terminal. Then after, I will install the necessary external libraries. So the library which I will use today for the Express for creating the server part is Express. So npm install expre express, and then nodemon will be there for uh, making the server live by restarting the server again if any changement occurs in that server file. So then node one, and then next file will be course. And these are, I think these files are the one which I will use today. So then after I will press enter. So I think, oh sorry, it is not npx, it is npm. So right now you can see one modules will be created. So inside the modules all the necessary dependencies is installed, which is of Express Node 1 and cores. So inside the package.json, here you can see these are the dependencies that I have installed just now. So now I will clear this CLS, and then after I will create one file which is named as server.js. So this is a file. I will just cross this out. Before crossing this out, here you can see right now in backend the main file in which I will write the server code, that is server.js. So here also in package.js JSON, the default file which is right now is index.js. So I will just change it to server.js. So server server.js. Okay. And then after I will just cross this out, and here also I will cross this out. So now I will make it little bit zoom so it will be easy for you to see. And then after I will start with my code. So firstly, what I have to do. So today our main agenda is to send something to a server, basically the data through query parameters. So I will show you what the query parameters is all about. So wait a minute, I will just start with my code, and then after when the concept will come, then I'll show you how these things work. So I will start with my code const express is equal to require express, and then const. These things I have already explained in my previous server video part. So right now I will not explain this again. And then after one port, let's say I will use 7000 port. And then after I will also include one external library which is a course. So course is equal to require course. How and for what purpose the course is used for? The course is used for just evaluating what we will send the data as a query through the link. So it will just analyze that link and extracted out the data from that link, which I have sent through query parameters. So I will show you. You don't have to worry about when that will come. I will show you. Definitely, I will show you. So this is how I have uh, included the necessary lines that will be useful for today. Then after I will live this code through listen method, listen, and then after name of the port, and then one callback function. So callback function, let's say for printing the message. So let's say callback function will be uh, port, wait a minute, port is LISTENIN. Port is LISTENIN, listening at HTTP 127 dot, wait a minute, HTTP 127.0.0.1, and then after the name of my port. So what will be the name of my port? So I will just write the variable name as port, and then after I will create just one basic route which will be the get route. So app.get, so that it will, so for confirming if there will be an error or not. So if there will be not, if I have not done any error till now, so I will definitely reach to this route slash route. Before checking whether I have made an error or not, so I will just make slash route, and I will then, and then after I will just send the JSON as a message, and I will write as message and as suitable. Success, you have reached to the root route. Okay. So I have just what I have just done till now. So I have included all the necessary dependencies in my main file server.js file, and I have created one route, which is our default route, and the name of default route is slash route. So when I will live my server code through node1, so it will hit the port at this link 7000 port number, and when I will hit the slash route, so then I will get something, this JSON file as a response, which says the message as success, you have reached to the root route. So this much I have done, and now I will make my server live. So for that I will write npx nodemon and then name of my file, which is a server.js. So here you can see I am getting the message as port is listening at HTTP. Wait a minute. Port is listening at this link TP127.0.0.1 and 7000 number port. So right now I will use the Postman for send the API request. So I will just open the Postman API. So wait a minute. I will just clear this out. Right now, for checking whether I had till now I have write the correct code or not, so I will just write the link, which is as 127.0.0.1, and then after name of my port, which is a 7000 number, and then after I will just hit the send button. So right now here you can see I am getting the message as success, you have reached to the root route. So right now I have implemented all the code. Right. Right now, now after this slash route, I will again make the new route, which is at get route. So now what this will do? So the name of this route will be calculate route, calculate calculate route, and it will also take one callback function. So that will be request comma respond, and it will, and here you can see now, to confirm whether I can, whether this slash route I am able to reach this route or not. So for confirming this, I will just write one message as log, and I will just write confirm success SUCCESS to check whether I'm accessing this route or not. So I will just write calculate, and then if I will send the request. So here you can see in my console, I am getting the message as success. If I'll just zoom it out, here you can see I'm getting the message as success. So I am successfully can able to reach inside this calculate route. So now I will just stop this. So now my main task is how we can send the data through query parameters through this link, which is there inside the Postman search panel, Postman panel. So how we can send. So the to send the data through link, let's say if I want to send one number through this link, so what can I do for it? So I will just write slash and slash, then after question mark, and after the question mark I will write the variable name that will contain some data. So let's say I will create one variable name as a, and then after what data it will take, let's say the value which this a variable will hold will be like, let's say 10. So this is the way how we can give the value to this query. So right now this a variable holds the value 10. So now to receive this value, again back to this calculate route, what can I do? So for receiving the value through this query, right now with the question mark, after the question mark, which the variables with the value we will write, that will be considered as a query. And right now I'm sending this data as a query parameter through this link, HTTP this 7000 then slash calculate route. So this is actually the query parameter. So how I will receive this? So for receiving this value a is equal to 10 inside this route, calculate route. So what can I do? I will just write one variable as const, which is a value one. Let's say in this side, this variable name, I will receive this value that I will get through this query. So how I will receive? So I have told you the things that I can receive through the client that all I can receive through this REQ parameter. So what can I do now? So I will just write request dot query. Actually, it is a query, so I will write. There are many ways by which a client can send the uh, data to the server. So one of the way is through query parameter. So right now I have written like request dot query and then variable name through which I am sending. So let's say in my case the variable name is a which will hold this value 10. So I will write this like a. To check whether I am receiving this value or not, I will just write log, the log, and then I will print this value 1. So now here you can see below, the server is started just now. So right now when I will again hit this with this value, so please focus on this. Wait a minute. Uh, Please focus on this part here. Here, when I will just click on this send. So what it will do, firstly, it will move to this 7,000 slash calculate route. So it means here, inside this, it will go. And as I am sending this link, I am sending this value through this link as a query, which is a is equal to 10. So this will received by this value one variable, and the val1 variable I am just printing through console.log method. So here the main agenda after sending the request is I have to receive 10 over here in terminal window. So let's see whether I have written the right code or not. So I will just click on this send button. So here you can see I am successfully receiving the value, which is a 10. So this is how client can send the data through query to the server. So let's say if I want to send one more value. So for that I will write as console value 2 and then request req request dot query query and then dot b and I will just copy this line and then after I will just write it again and here I will write value 2. So right now I am sending only one value which is a is equal to 10. So and inside this value 2 right now I am sending just only one value which is a is equal to 10. And here in 40 number line I am expecting that another value b will come through the query parameters. So let's say if I will now just click on the send. So here you can see a is just receiving through this variable one and I am not sending any another value as a query parameter. So in this 14 number line, what this val2 variable will receive, it will receive as undefined because nothing I am sending through query parameters except a. So here, when the 16th line will execute, it will giving me the output as undefined. So this is how it will work. So let's say if I want to send two values, so one will be a is equal to 10. Let's say second will be b is equal to 20. So how can I send? So I can send the second value through this after applying this AND operator in between. So and after the AND, I will write b is equal to let's say 20. And now if I will send this value again. So here you can see I am getting the value as 10 is equal to 20. So um, we can send as many as values we want, but after writing all these, this is the only way how we can send the data through query parameters. So this is the way. Now uh, I will just write here respond dot status respond dot status 200 dot send and let's say if I don't want to send a normal textual format, I just want to send a JSON format file. So I will just write JSON and then object file and then message. Not message, I will write value received one, value, value, value received 1, which will be the value 1, and then value received value received 2 will be this value 2. So right now, when I will again hit this link, slash calculate route with this queries as a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. So this will be received by my this slash calculate route by these two variables val1 and val2, and then after I am sending the response back again to the client with this which is actually the JSON format JSON format file as a result, which will contain the two key values. First one is value receive 1 that holds the value of val1 variable, and second one is val receive 2 that will hold the value of the second variable, which is val2. So now when I will click on this send, so here you can see I am receiving the response back from the server, which is actually in the JSON format. Here you can see val receive 1, which is actually the value 10, and second one is 20. So this is how we can send the values through the query parameters through the server. So right now, our main agenda is to make the calculation route. So that will actually receive the two values from the query parameters and then perform some operation according to the given operation and send the response back again to the client. So what I will do, let's say here in this case, val1 and val2, I will receive one, I will receive the two values. And let's say if I want to again, let's say if I with these two values, I will also take one operator, because according to that operator only we will perform some operation. So I will just write const operator, and then after I will write request dot query and then operator name. Operator name, not the operator name, just the short shorthand form of that operator. So I will also send the operator as a query with this link. So I will just write and again, and then after I will write operator, and then let's say I will send the operator as a shorthand as add. So for this add operation, so I will just write this switch case. So let's say if I am getting the operator as add, so I will write these cases, case one, not case one, case add. Wait a minute, case add. And then after when I will write case add, and here in this line number 13 and 14, I have already getting that value a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. So with the value, if the case is if right now with these two values, if the operation is add, so what I have to send the user as a response. So for sending the response, I will just create one variable again, which is as result, result. Wait a minute, result. So result will contain in initial phase it will contain some empty string, and then after as my case is add, so what I will do, I will just reinitialize this result variable with the value as %. Why I will use the %? Because when I am receiving the data from the client, so I am receiving that data in the form of a string. So to make the and to perform any of the calculations, I firstly I have to convert this string into a numeric type. So for converting the string to numeric, I have already having the two functions, which is parseInt and parseFloat. So I will just import this parseInt. I will use this method parseInt. Then after I will pass the value as value 1, and second value will be parseInt, and that will contain the second value will be value 2. So these are the two values. And after converting this value into the numeric type, I will perform the operation add in between. And the answer which I will get, I will reassign to this result part. And then after, I will just do like break, break. So what it will do? Uh, it will just perform the operation over my variables values, and the answer which I will calculate after performing the operation, that holds inside the result variable. Now I will, let's say if I will want to make some another uh, subtract, I want to do some another operation which is a subtract. For that I will again uh, just copy this. Wait a minute. Just copy this line and I will paste it again. And here I will just change the one operator sign, which is a from plus to minus, and then after I will write break, break. So let's say right now I will just making my this slash calculate route for the basically for two operation. And if there will be any another operation, so for that I will write like default, and then inside the result I will just wait for a minute. Res will inside the result I will just say uh, please please send the send the valid operation OPRATION operation. So I will just initialize if there will be any another operation except this add and subtract. So right now we can make the operations also for other another operations or another operators. But right now I am just making for this addition and subtraction only. For any another operation, I will just declare this default value. And if the user will uh, enter any another operation, let's say multiple or divide, so it will just initialize this result variable with this value. Please send the valid operation. So after performing the operation, I will just send the user as a response. So I will write like respond dot status, status status, and then after with this status code, and I will send the response in the JSON format. So for that, I will write the JSON, and then after I will write uh, result. So inside the result is actually the value that I am getting. So I will write result. So that's much I have implemented till now. So after that, what can I do? I will just try to show you. Let's say the value is 10 and the second value is 20 and the operation is add. So when I will try to send the request, let's say this. So what I am getting the response result equal to 30. So it means I am getting the right response from my server. So let's say if I will change the operation as subtraction, and then if I will try to send, so here you can see 10 minus 20, which is actually the value will be minus 10. So I am getting the right answer as a response. So I have successfully created uh, the slash calculate route that receives two values as a query parameter, and one and the another which is a operation as a inside the query parameter, and according to the operation value it will do the operation and send the response back to me again or back to the client again in the JSON format. So this much I have implemented. So I can also add some more operations. Let's say if I want to add some more operation as this. Wait a minute. So let's say if I will add some more operation like multiply and then divide. So these are the two operations that I have again make. So I will just change the operator values. I will just write divide and wait a minute, divide. Let's say if the value, if the second value, let's say if parse int of the second value val2 is if this value is actually equal to 0, it means I am dividing the number with the 0, which actually is not a which actually is a infinity. Answer for that will be infinity. So I will just if this case will be arise, then I will do like this. Let's say break. No, I will write like this. Result will be um, result will be, let's say, divide by zero error. Divide by zero error. E double R O R O R. Okay. And then after I will write this as, wait a minute, I will write this as, hmm, hmm. If this will happen, then this, or else. I will just write this here, else. Else, result will be this. Control X, and here I will just paste this value like this. So I have just to make my this slash calculate route for the four operations. So firstly, I will verify. So I previously I've already verified for add and subtract. Now I will verify it for multiply. So let's say if I will do the send operation. So right now I'm getting the 200, which is actually the right answer. Now let's say if I will send the two values 10 and 2, and the operation will be, let's say, division. So what I am getting is, as in response, I am getting 5 as a response. So let's say if I will send B as 0, so which means actually I am dividing the 10 with the second value as 0. Now if I will send the response, what I am getting in result, I am getting in result as divide by 0 error. So I've successfully implemented the slash calculate route. So uh, wait a minute. Hmm. Wait a minute. Vedant, able to hear my voice?
Yes, Keshav, you're audible.
Okay. So right now I've successfully created one route. So I have done the part related to the backend. So now I will just move one step back. One step back to my previous folder. So for that, what I will do, I will just firstly I will stop the server, and I will just write CLS, and then after I will just move one step back to my previous path and open the front end folder. Wait a minute. Right now I'm inside the front end folder, and then I will write code dots, open that folder inside the VS Code. There you can see right now I'm inside this front end folder. So here I will create some of the files related to this front end. So I will just write, as this is the front end part, so I will be little bit fast so that it sty and style dot css, and third one will be scri script dot js. Okay, so I will just do this stuff fast. So basically what I am trying to make, I will just trying to make the two input boxes that will receive two values, which will be the input boxes, and one will be the button. Not one, there will be a four button, but right now I will show you with the one button only. So, okay. So now I will open this output for this parallelly so that it will be easy for you to see. Here I will write the title as CLCULATE, calculate. And then after I will link my CSS file with this style.css. Then after I will add also the script file with this RC and then script.js. So right now firstly I will do some CSS part, margin 0 pixel, padding 0 pixel, box sizing will be border box, HTML comma body will be of, let's say, width 100%, and height will be 100%, and let's say font size that I will use for my project, let's say it will be the 10 pixel, and then after font family, let's say I will use as cursive. Okay, so this much I have done. So then after what I will do, I will also write one, I will also make this as a flex. and display flex. Flex direction will be basically it is default, by default it is row, so I will make it as it is. And then after align item center and justify content center. So right now because I have not written anything inside this, so let's see if I will write this again. So here you can see according to the CSS which I have written, so the text which is currently rendering inside this output is in the center due to the flex property. So firstly I will make one div, so with the id as a container, wait a minute, container, container. And inside the container, firstly, I will do make the ending. So, wait a minute, I will open this parallelly. Mm. Sorry. So I will firstly target this container, CONTAINER, because I will try to make some giving some. I will give the width little bit. So I will assign the width. Let's say 50%. 50% and height will be, let's say, 80%. And border, let's say 2 pixel solid black. So here you can see this is the border. Wait a minute. So then after I will give some radius black. Let's say border radius will be uh, 5 pixel. Okay, not 5 pixel, let's say 15 pixel. Then after I will also write some padding inside it, 10 pixel. I will not explain this front end part, so this is very basic. So after this, I will write some heading. So let's say the heading will be, let's say calculate, calculator, CL, no, just calculate, CLCULATE, calculate. So I want this to be in the middle. So I will also make this also as display is equal to flex, align items center, not align item center, justify content center, justify content center, and then flex direction as column. Okay, align item center nahi, align item center, align item center. So this is what I have done till now, is to make this at the center. So then after what I will do, I will make two input boxes. So firstly I will uh, CONTAINER container, and I will make the this heading a little bit large. So for making it large, I will like this H1, and then I will write as 1.3 RAM. Wait a minute, it's too small. So I will write this 2.3, okay, 3.3 RAM. It is now it's looking good. And then after I will make the two input boxes. So the first input boxes will be, let's say, number. Okay, because I will send the number now. That's why I'm making this as number. Let's say placeholder will be enter first number. Enter first number. And then I will just copy this line and I will paste here. And here I will write enter second number. Okay. And I will also make one button. So before making the button, I will just uh, make this input boxes a large, make it some big, make this input boxes, make it zoom a little bit. So for that, I will increase the width for that. So let's say width will be 80% and height will be, let's say 2 VH. No, 2 VH. It is too small. I will write as 4 RAM. Now it's good. Okay. Wait a minute. Hmm. Vedant, can you able to see my screen? And then gap will be, let's say I will give ads. I will not give the gap. Okay, I will give it. Gap, let's say 30 pixel. Okay. No, 30 pixel is too large. 20 pixel. No, it's okay. Inside the input section, I will write text align will be at center. So it will be at center. So now it will take the two numbers, first number and second number. And according to that number, let's say I will also make this here. I will also declare two IDs as, let's say, input one will be the name of first ID, and here uh, ID will be input input. Two will be the second ID for these two input boxes. And after that, I will make one button. So the name ID of this button will be, let's say, add button. So I will add this add. So after that, I will decorate this button as this button. And then after, I will also make it large a little bit. So for that, I will with, let's say, uh, 200 pixel. This is too large. So let's say 130 pixel. Now it's okay. Wait a minute. And height will be, let's say, 60 pixel. It's too large. 40 pixel. Now it's okay. And then after, border radius, let's say 20 pixel. Now it's fine. And the font that will be there inside this, uh, font size will be, let's say, 2 rem. Now it's looking good. And then after, I will make the background color as black, and then color as this. And then after, I will wait a minute. Hmm. And then after, I will do this uh, font weight. Font weight, let's say 700. So it will be a little bit bold. So now after creating this button, what I will do, I will also make one display screen. So for that, I will write like this, display screen, display screen. And after making the display screen, I will write the CSS property for that. So I will first trigger this out as with ID as display screen, SCREEN, display screen. And then width will be, let's say, 50%, and height will be, let's say, 50%. 50%. So I will make the border, let's say, 2 pixel solid, black. Black. Now it's not looking good, so I will just increase the, okay, now it's good. So this is the screen, and I will also give this screen also a flex property, display flex, align items center, and justify control center. And let's say I will also give it a padding a little bit, which will be the 10 pixel. And then after, border radius will be 10 pixel. So this is the display screen, and right now inside this it is written output. Okay. I will also increase the size for it. So font size will be, let's say, uh, 3 rem. Now it's good. And also inside the input section, I will increase the font size as 1.3 rem. Not 1.3 rem, 1.8 rem. 1.8 is too large, 1.6. Now it's good. So this much I have made. So what is my purpose for making this? So let's say if I will write one number as here inside, if I will write some number, and here also when I will write some number in this second input box, when my motto is when I will click on this add button. So the operation according to this button, the operation that I will get after pressing this add button, that will be rendered inside this out display section, this output section. So for that I will do something. So I have just created the basic things. Okay. So now what I will do, I will just close this CSS part. And now I will move to this JavaScript section. So what I will do, firstly, my task is to get some number, and with that number which I will receive, I will just according to this clicking of this button, add button, there will be one function will be run. So how can I assign to that button which function will be run? So for that, I will write one attribute with this button which with this button tag that will be on click. So let's say after on click, what function will be run? So let's say I will create one function which is a add function, and the description for this add function I will just write inside this script.js folder. So firstly, my task is to get the values that the user will enter inside these two boxes. So how can I get these two values? So for that, I will just write const. No, I will make the function. So let's say the function will be let's say add, and inside the add function I will have to take two values. So values that I will take, uh, let's say that values will be const value 1. Const value 1 will be document dot get element by id, and the id that I have allotted for the input box 1 will be input 1. Here you can see this is the id. So this is the input 1, and same I will do for the value 2. Okay, so this is the value 2. Document dot get element by body, that will be the input 2. So right now what I will receive with this, I will actually receive the whole element, like whole input elements. But actually what I want to take, I just want to take the value that the user will write inside the input box. So for that I will just write this input value 1, input value. Okay, and then after dot value for the second value. So when I have received this value, and when the user will click on this add button, so for what I have to do, and third thing is that I also have to render the result inside this display section. So for that I also make one variable, let's say const, and the name of the variable will be display, displ, display screen. Display screen will be document dot get element by id. Uh, what id I have given to this, the id is display screen. Okay, I will just copy it, and then after what I will do, get element by id, and what id I will give, I will write like this will be my id. Okay, so when the user will click on this add button, add function will be triggered, add function will be run, and before the add function, uh, okay, wait a minute. I will just. Hmm. So, wait a minute. I will just have to write this inside this function. Okay. So, because after clicking on this add button only, I have to receive this responses that user will enter inside these input boxes. So, I just have to write this inside the add function. So, I have received these two values and the area where I will render the output. So now I have to perform the operation according to the add function. So let's say the operation will be result will be RUSLT, result will be let's say value 1 plus value 2. So this will be the result. Uh, so according to this add function, I will add these two values, and the answer which I will get, I will assign that answer inside this result variable, and I will write this as const. So const result will be value 1 plus value 2. Now, how can I render this inside this area, output area? So for that, I will again use the property of DOM. And what I will do for that? So I will write like mm, display screen. Wait a minute. Display screen dot inner HTML. So what I have to display inside the inner HTML, that will be result, and result dot to string string, result dot to string is the answer that I actually want to render inside this. So now what I will do, I will just write some values inside it, let's say 484, and then after 294. When I will press enter, here you can see I am getting the concatenated string. Why I am getting this concatenated string? Because the value that I am receiving, that I am receiving is actually in the string format. So for converting this value into string in numeric format, I will just uh, encapsulate this inside this function, which is a parse int, and then after wait a minute, and then after value 1 will also in the parse int, and value 2 is also in the parse int. So parse int is a function, and then after value 2. So now if I when I will click on this something like this, and when I will click on this add button, wait a minute, I am getting the correct answer, which is the addition of these two numbers that I have entered right now. But the answer which I am getting is actually because of the logic which I have written inside this script.js section. But this is not the task. I want to get this answer from the server. So how can I connect this front end which I have just make with this backend part? This the backend which I have earlier created. Where is it? Okay, this is the link which I have. This is the backend logic which I have just created. So how can I connect this with my front end part with this part? So now because of not having the sufficient time, I will not show you how to connect this front end and back end together. I have to for today I have just implemented this front end part, and I have created the back end part. So in my next session, I will
भैया
show
हमें
you.
उसके बारे में सब जान
Hello, Vedant, are you saying anything?
No question, no question.
Okay. So in my next session, right now for today, I have just make this front end part, and also I have successfully created the back end routes part. So in my next session, I will show you how we can connect this front end with the back end. So right now I'm ending with my session. So Vedant, now you can continue for today. I am just closing with my session. Okay, Vedant, are you ready? Vedant, Vedant,
Yes, Keshav.
are you ready to present your presentation?
Yes, I'm ready.
What?
Uh, I'm
Uh, so as Vedant is not ready, it will he will take some 4 to 5 minutes. So so up to that time, I will create one new function. So, so let's say I will create one new function as subtract. Okay, subtract. So that will just do the subtraction part. So let's say this is the subtract, and I will create one more button over here. So uh, that will implement the logic for subtraction sub. So this I have created one more button which is a for subtraction sub. Okay. So now if the user will enter the click on this subtract button. So according to the subtract function, he will get the output in their output screen. So let's say if I will enter like 78, and then if I will enter like 18, when I will click on this add buttons, I am getting 96, and if I when I will click on the subtract button, I am getting 60. So this is how I can uh, also create the multiple operations. So let's say if I will also make the for multiply and divide. So I will just create two buttons more, and I will change the ID for that. So I will, let's say, wait a minute. ID will be button. Okay. Okay. So right now, if I will not give them ID also, then also it will perform the task. So let's say if I will remove this ID, wait a minute. So let's say if I will remove this ID part, it will then also it will do the task as I want. Okay. So I will just remove this ID part. Because with the ID, I'm not triggering anything, so I don't think so it will be useful to write here. I will just name the function and create the new button as multiply and the next button as divide. That's it, divide. And then after I will write this as division. Okay. So I have created the four basic functions: add, subtraction, addition, and subtraction, and logic for that is already you have seen. So now I will also again just copy this, and I will make this for multiplication. Multiplication. Okay. And then after what I will do, I will just change the operator sign, and this is the function for multiplication. And now if I will do like this, and I will then again try to make this for division. Division, and then I will change the operator according to that. Division, and let's say if the okay, the result. So before implementing this division logic, I will not do it directly, because let's say if the second value which user will enter is the 0. Okay. So for actually for that, what I have to do, I don't have to show him or her any type of output, because divide by 0 is actually the infinity. So for that, I will just show him what wrong input, let's say. So for writing that, let's before giving calculating the original input, I will first check whether the percent of the second value, which is value 2, is it 0. So if it is 0, so what I will do, I will just write, let's say, wait a minute. Before that, firstly, I will initialize the result as like this. And if the second value is 0, so what I will do, I will write inside the result as, let's say, wrong. Wrong, or let's say if I will do like this cross, which represent actually the wrong input. Okay. And if else if the second value is not 0, so what I will do, I will just do the normal thing, normal operation for division like this. So this much I have done. So let's say if I will enter the two values, let's say first one is 20 and second word is 10. So when I will press on this add button, I am getting 30. When I will press on the subtract button, I am getting the 10. When I will click on multiply button, I am getting what? 200. And when I will press on divide button, wait a minute, why division is not working properly? Uh, Division is not working properly. Okay, wait a minute. For checking why it is not working properly, I will see the whole thing again. Button on click division div. Okay, this is right. Function division volume 1. Okay, value 2, if the value 2 is 0. So what I will do, I have to just initialize this as result. Okay, and okay. result, and this is okay. I think this is right. So let's say I will again like this 20 and 10. Press on this division section. Yes, I am getting the right answer. So this is how today I have make the front end part, but this front end part is not actually connected with the back end. All the logic implementation I have handled through this JavaScript part. So this is not the motto of my today's session. I just have to connect this both front end and back end through query parameters routes that I have just implemented before when I'm explaining the backend folder files. So Vedant, are you ready now?
Yes, Keshav, I'm ready.
Okay, okay. Wait a minute. So I'm ending with my presentation. Now Vedant will continue with his presentation. Okay. So wait a minute. I will just stop my screen. Vedant, now you can start with the presentation. Hello.
So please ensure me that my screen visible and I'm audible. And so any people started the recording.
Vedant, recording is already started and your screen is also visible. You can continue.
Okay. Thank you, Keshav, for the information. So a very good evening to everyone. This is another section of Node.js. Basically, in the last session, we were understanding the concepts of file handling, but due to some technical glitches, the file handling part was not recorded properly. Today, we're going to understand file handling at a glance. I will be getting it some faster because we have to cover more sessions in also. So if you have any doubt, you can stop me at that moment. There's no problem, and I can give my whole time to that particular concepts. So thank you. So today I'm gonna just revise this file handling it again. So after revising this file handling, after that, I will be moving towards servers, how to create a servers with the HTTP methods and I will be explaining you deep concepts that what you should not do and what you should do. So for making projects, all these things are very important. So let's start up with our part, and this is a very good with a new session. Okay, so 1 minute. Okay, so um, so at that file handling part, I was explaining you about fs.append file syncs. So basically, fs.append file sync, basically what fs.append file sync means that it appends the function synchronously. So whatever operations you want to perform, whatever data you want to write in your at a log file, it just append your data at your file. So likewise, you have to give the name of the directory like this. This is the name of the file. Follow the name of my file, and Vedant Shukla is my text written over there. Okay, so this is a problem. On the other hand, if you have a okay, so on the other hand, if you ask about fs.write file sync, this is written over here. So fs.write file sync means it just means that see this what does this mean that you are writing something into the file. But what is the difference between write file sync and append file sync? That means you are appending. That means you are over. That means you are just adding more text to your file. Basically, because when you are using write file sync to over your data will get overridden time by time. So this is the use of not append file sync. Okay. Now it comes about the part of um, this not that how we write the whole things. First of all, just remember this thing. You have to just apply all these things in a certain directory. Okay. For example, okay, for example, if you can see on my screen, if you can see on my screen that it's certain const fs is equals to require fs. So this line is very important. That means you're installing the module into your file, and that is a fs is an inbuilt module. I have told it earlier also. It's an inbuilt module. It's an inbuilt module. So okay, so that is very important to understand that without in using these modules, you cannot you cannot perform your file handling operations. So that was the part. Okay. So then after performing all those things, we have to know you have to understand uh, so we have to understand we have to understand this thing, new dot get new date dot get date dot to local string. So this is a new function that tells about the at which date you're performing any of your operations. Okay, so if you can understand it like you can understand it like that. For example, if I'm creating a real-time web server and I want to I want to make one log file that where I want to note that particular thing that whenever we had whenever the user has logged user has logged into the server. Okay, so whenever the user has logged into the server or whenever the user has logged into the server and whenever the user is logged into the server and what kind of date he or she has logged, because what happens when there is a actual when in companies when there is an actual data has been stored, so all these things are very important in terms of security purpose. Okay, so likewise you can see over here at line number 13 we have this 15 is my date whenever, for example, if it's 15th of October, November, whatever, when I was logging my server. For one thing more that is more important to understand this error invalid argument value, that it just generally since you're not using the proper syntax, so this these kinds of problem occurs. Okay, so you have to understand these things well. Okay, so you have to understand these things well. Error underscore invalid argument value. Okay, that means you're using any proper invalid syntax. Okay, so now the most important thing to understand that the number of times you will be running your server. For example, by I ran my server like this. Okay, I ran my server like this. Like this. Okay, node and link. That means I'm again I want to run my server. So again, if I want to run my server again, so node link that means I'm running my server again. Okay, that means I'm running my server again and again by using node and whatever the name of my file is. Okay, my file name of my JS file is link. Okay, okay. So I was using it again. That means I'm again refreshing my server. I'm just refreshing my server, and number of times I'm refreshing my server, the number of times these dates will get appended. So let's check up how it gets appended. Okay, so number of times it gets appended. Okay, so as you can see over here at this slide, that I was what I was telling you about, that these modules are so important to in this and build module. We have to use it like that. So then this thing now, yes. So here okay. So here if you can see, I just okay. I at line number 2 at this particular line. This you can see this 8 8 8 8 8 again, and something like that. Okay. So what does it these eight 8 is appended. These 888 means that means these 888 means it means that I'm refreshing my server again and again and again and again. That particular date has been getting appended over there at the name of my text area. Okay, so that is the valid reason. So that is a thing that is the most important thing to understand. Say, okay, although I'm using backslashes and the number of times I'm using, okay, just assume I've refreshed my server 12 times or 10 times. So the it just the now it is showing me in a proper alignment. But now the data is also getting printed in a proper alignment. So that is the thing to small things to understand. Now, okay, now you can see over here this I have just marked this triple eights and this on all these things get happen easily. So what you have to remember, you have to remember this syntax that new date dot get date dot to local string. Okay. One thing more that it's about normal information that module what is module not found. Actually, this is a stack error when something when you're using some when you're using the wrong stack. That means um, for example, you open your file at folder number at any A folder, and but you're running your node file at any at any A you can say drive, and you're running your you can say JS file at any B drive. So that is the reason this whole problem occurs requires that. That means you are running your server, but it is not been found. And if the file is not been found, how would it perform the operations? Okay, so these are the small things we have to understand. Okay, so again, if you can see that how the gate is getting implemented by those functions, you can try it on your own. So it's not a big deal. To now it's not important to explain it again and again. Now the important parts comes about. Now and another important part over here is that this date dot now. Now what is this date dot now? Date dot now is something like that. It has been used under backsticks. These are the this is known as backsticks. Backsticks is under your you can say escape key. See, what is the importance of this backsticks? Because I'm just mentioning a simple you can say a kind of a key over here that is inside your keyboard. Actually, what happens? The meaning of these backsticks are actually the meaning of these backsticks are this is the name of my file that dot slash follow. Then I'm using this date dot now, and I just remove dot to local string because I'm writing my own text a over here that is Vedant Shukla backslash n. I'm using the whole thing under backsticks that in dollar sign and braces. That means now see over here you can see over here. This line number 17, line number 18, and till line number 24 over here. See what is happening over here. See what is happening over here from 17th number line to 8 to line low last line. Okay. So what is happening over here? It is just showing a kind of you can say address. It is showing my address. For example, if there is a when you working at a real life when you're using a real life website and you're making a real life website, so it requires in companies to that at what times the timestamps are required. Okay, so timestamps are very important to understand. So sometimes these timestamps are required to understand that whenever each and everyone is has logged. For example, you're making any kind of a uh, if kind of you can say a logging system for your own company. So these are the timestamps that someone has logged at this particular time, someone has logged at this particular time, someone is logged at this particular time, and someone is logged at this particular time. So all these things are your kind of known as timestamps. So with these operations, the timestamps have been can get created. The most important thing over here to understand over here is that please use these backsticks and this syntax properly. Else what happens? This object not found problem is there. That means object not found problem. It just means simply means that is you're not using these backsticks properly, or not using backs not applying backsticks or or using not applying the backsticks or not using your, you can say, syntax properly. So this problem occurs when you're not using your data not function properly. Okay. Okay. Now, so this part has okay. So by doing these operations, we can do one thing more. We can do one thing more. We can just create our own. You can say we can just create our own IP also. We can store the IP of a user also. So it depends upon the requirement of your particular. You can say what are your specific requirements. Now, another important part over here is that how you that you just have to refresh your server again and again. That as I have refreshed my server and I get all those things. Okay, I got all those things. Okay, there's no problem. Now it is the file. So by doing all this, now file handling part is now almost over. So now just understand this one thing more that uh, what is this? Now we can perform new operations now we can perform some new operations also at at our, you can say, file handling. For example, I used one operation such as fs dot. I used the operation such as fs dot stat sync. What does this fs dot stat sync or fs dot cp sync what means? First, understand about fs dot stat sync. Okay. Fs dot stat sync and fs dot unlink sync. This line number 50 and 51. Okay. See, this means for this console.log fs dot stat sync, this means it shows the statistics. This shows me the uh, statistics of my file. Okay, this shows the statistics of my file. That whatever at which phase at which phase my I have logged into the, you can say, I have logged into the, you can say, um, I have logged into my, you can say, server, or what at what phase the either file has been created, at which time, at how many seconds it required to create, or what is the time ms of my server of my file. So it gives me the detailed, you can say, version that of my files. Okay, so in a very detailed manner. And also one thing more that is important to understand over here is um, fs dot unlink sync. This line number 50, fs dot unlink sync means that I'm unlinking my file. I just kind of a unlinking means, you can understand unlinking. Unlinking can be understand it as deletion. It's a deletion. It's a deletion part. Okay, that means I'm deleting my file, or I'm just uh, or you can say the file has been there, but it has been removed, but it has not been deleted properly. For example, you can see over here it has been okay, it has been removed over from here. So the my name, I linked a followers file. So it is not showing me over here, but you can see over here at this phase, this followers, it got this removed, and it kind of I can understand it like that. Okay, okay. So these are all the stats of my fs.stat sync. So people can see it in the screens, that how is it showing like that. That okay. So now another things are like that. Another thing that are most important to understand is that one more operations, that is the same with the same operations, we are performing the one more operations, that this at this line number 51. What is that operation? That is that is known as that is known as is file. That is known as is file operation. So what does this is file operation? Is file operation is a kind of a function. Is file operation is kind of a function that it is asking to me that it is asking to me that does this file exist? So does this file exist? So it is when I'm refreshing my server again over here. So it just gives me the result. It has true, because yes, the file exists. That means this file follow exists. So that means it is giving return me as true, else it can return me as false. Okay. Okay. So we can perform these operations for our own easiness. Now Now, one thing more that if you want to create a directory over there inside my file. For example, by using these file handling methods, I want to create my directory. Although I can create it on my own directory, I can make my own directory with the help of my folder also. But I do not want to go there. I just want to do it because I have a large code base and I have to see the other operations also. So for my ease, this has been this you can say you can kind of reliable leniency has been provided in file handling itself. It's a kind of a function that is v shuk shuk. This is the name of my folder, name of my folder and my file. This is the name of my directory, and I have to use this recursive true. That means recursively I want to create the file, and yes, and it should be created under my own directory. Okay, under my own directory. So I'm making it in my own directory. Okay. So you can see over here. So I use this operation and fs.mkdir, and my file got created over here. So this is my directory. Okay, this is my kind of folder. Okay, so you can perform these various operations over here, and that is important to understand. And okay, so for monitoring purpose or something like that. Okay, now one- okay, now move on to some another things that is be known as threads. So what are threads over here? Threads are kind of you can say uh, okay. Before understanding threads, I want to understand you I just use this operation to write my something into my file. That is write file. But what is the okay? But what is the you can say difference over here that has been created? Difference over here that is created over here is is created over here is that I'm using some different operation, and that different operation is uh, asynchronous operation. That is asynchronous operation. So what is asynchronous operation? Asynchronous operation means I'm using a kind of a non-blocking request. I'm using a kind of a non-blocking request. A non-blocking request. Okay. So this is which one is preferable? Obviously, non-blocking request will always be preferable than a blocking request. So what does this non-blocking means? In my morning session, I will be taking a single individual session of node architecture because we do not have that time. I will be taking up a particular session of node architecture. Please remind me. So, but right now, just understand it like that synchronously means using synchronous means to block something. Okay, to blocking something. And asynchronous means it's a non kind of a non-blocking request, a non-blocking request. Okay, a non-blocking request. So why we use so here you can see where if I want to use synchronous, I just can add sync and sync and just sync, and I can use it as in a synchronous manner. But here I'm using a asynchronous manner. Okay, so the syntax is a little bit different. I have to give this callback. What does this callback means? Okay, this callback means that if there is any error, please return me that error, or otherwise print my text over there. Although this is not required, but you have to use this callback like that. Okay, now understand it like that. And now I use a synchronous operation that is a blocking request under my reading area. Sorry. So I just use it like that. Const v is equals to fs.read file sync. Just want to read my file over here. I just want to use read my file over here. Okay. So I just use the read my file and I give the name of file and UTF-8. UTF-8 is known is used for encoding. For it's a, that means it is used for decoding your text in a binary format. UTF-8 has been used for decoding for binary format under your you can say for example, when there is some large amount of text has been written and your system is everyone knows that system stores in the form of binary operations. So it just calculates it is easily under your server. So it's like that. So I want to read something on my file. When I use the name of a file beyond.txt, I already wrote over there a text. I had created it manually, and I already wrote the text as I'm a Node developer, and your people can follow me on LinkedIn. Okay, and this dot edit has been just it's the thing. It's okay. So this has been written. You can people can see over here, and it got read over here in the terminal itself. And then I refresh my terminal. Okay, so now we are going to understand. Now we are going to understand that what this synchronous and non-asynchronous mean. I'm just actually I'm just moving this, or I'm just using these things in a very short manner. In the next, if I would get a time in the morning sessions, I will be continuing that part again. Just understand it like that. First, there's a it is a kind of a client user developer interaction. For my client, that is a user or a developer, and your whatever your server. It's a client and server architecture. So it is just based upon client server architecture, client server client server architecture. Okay, a client server architecture. Okay, client server architecture. Okay, so just understand it like that. There's one client and and he uses a server. Okay, so then what happens? Does it makes a request to your server. For example, I'm a client and I just want to make a request to. I just want to make a request to the server. Okay, although I can understand it like that, that I'm a developer. I'm just a working software engineer. I just want to request my server to perform certain operations. Okay. So what happens? Request comes to the Node.js. This request comes towards the Node.js. Request comes towards the Node.js. So then that Node.js calculates, and that it just move and it just process that request into that event loop. There's one event loop. There's one event loop. Okay, event loop. So event loop is a kind of a queue. Okay, it's a kind of a queue. One minute. Event loop is a kind of a queue. Event loop is a kind of a queue, and watches event and just it just it just makes your request under it just make your request and either under a you can say waiting structure. Okay, it just waits your request. It just okay. So actually, what happens? There is one concept known as FIFO concept. F I FIFE. For example, first you can say first in and first request first execution, last request last execution. So that means first request is has been executed first. First request is executed first, and last request and last request executed at last, and last request is executed at last. Okay. So that is the you can say that how this works. Okay. So so it just arranges in it in a queue. For example, this is one ready queue. So for example, whatever the priority, for example, one has the more priority than two has the least priority, third is another like that. So likewise, for whichever has been requested it earlier, it just get request with that one. For example, one then two. That it depends upon the server. For example, first is one, then two. Okay, then three. It just works like that. So this is a simple architecture that works like that. So it just picks up the request from that event queue and forward to the next operation. That is the request. So I'm sorry. So this is a basic structure or basic working. Okay. But now what happens if we are talking about blocking? That means synchronous. Now comes about the task of the concept of synchronous and asynchronous. For example, if you are working with blocking request, for example, see blocking means that means it blocks the request. That means it blocks the request. You can understand it like that. For example, that it just wants that server should not have too much of load. Okay, to make server should not have too much of load. Okay, to prevent it from overloading. Okay, overloading from the request. because we understand, you can just understand like that when we use any kind of a site and site gets crashed. Why it happened that lots of requests has been applied to the server. That is the reason over there. So what happens? Yes, there are some thread operations. So there are some thread operations. Those thread operations, they're assigned to each and every request to work out. So there's in each and every request. Okay, but they work accordingly. That's synchronous. But but there are limited number of threads. For example, there are three threads. Okay, there are the number of threads are three. So by default, what happens? They're processing each and every thread. For example, it has the capacity to take a load of only three threads. But I have 30 requests at my server it is pending. It is pending right now. And only and it is able to execute only three. Only three. It is able to execute only three. So what would happen? So what would happen? Yeah, okay. So am I audible?
Yes, Vedant, you are audible and your screen is also visible. You can just continue.
Okay. Thank you, Keshav. Okay, so I was saying that there's one event loop so that picks up the request and it just forwards to the next operation. So what happens? So this is for example, if the executable part is only three and 30 requests has been pending towards it. So what would happen? The server should get the site should get crashed. So for to just not happen that thing, we use a non-blocking request. It's understanding like that. For example, we have some 1.5 GB of data, but we want to use it more. We require 500 MB more. So our work would get stopped. So it's just like that. So it just traverses the whole thing, and that it just gives the request to first, then two, then three. It's like, then again, for example, it has a capacity to three, then it will traverse the whole. Then again, the fourth part will get executed, and the time taking, it would take first of all more time. First of all, it would take some more time. The time taking will get increased. Okay, and our request can or also gets blocked when it is not able to take the load of each and every request, and it would get crashed. May get crashed. So that is the reason we introduce a non-blocking request, that is a synchronous request. There it has the capacity to take more loads. So we will be discussing this concept later on in the morning section. Please attend morning sessions. We will be discussing these more concepts for this. Okay. So I should explain all these things to you, uh, uh, like here. Now what is happening? Now, okay. Now what is happening over here? Oh, understand. See now what is happening now here. If you people can see over here, see, I'm using you can see over here that I'm using synchronous operations. So what does this synchronous operation means? This synchronous means blocking requests. So these are the some blocking requests. So these are the if they are, these are the blocking requests. So first I globally I declared my printing statement, that is one. I wanted to print the request of any one request. Assume it like that. Then I just want to read some. I just performed the one operation to read something. Then again I used. Then again after that I just wanted to print another request. Okay, I just wanted to print another. That is one. Then some any. Then this. Some I want to read something on my text area. And the request number two to see what is happening. First, it executed globally the request number one. Then it request number one. Then it read the data of my file that someone now developed, and you people can follow me on LinkedIn. Then the request number two was get executed. So basically, it just do it in a sequential manner. As I told you, it uses event loop, so it moved into the event loop, and it is executably, and it is executing in a sequential manner. So there's no problem. Okay, there's no problem. Now now again we used synchronous operations, and we use some more, we use some more, you can say more requests, and we just put down some more requests over there. Okay, so it would be getting at as, and it would be getting, you can see, like that. Uh, 3.1, then again it read 3.2, 3.1, 3.1. Okay, then again it read the data of the file. Then 3.2, then again it will be reading the data of the file. Then 3.3, and like that. So what is all? This is a kind of asynchronous nature, Now I'm using some synchronous nature. Now people can see I'm using a synchronous nature. Okay. Now I'm using a synchronous nature. See, what this is a synchronous nature. Reading my file and I'm giving the callback function. That is does it mean? Non-blocking. In asynchronous, we do not have to define it like that. Asynchronous, we just have to use like where that we use synchronously. We have to use in a normal executable part. Okay. So this is a non-blocking request. So this is the non-blocking request. Okay. Now, if when there is a non-blocking request, so now when there is a non-blocking request, there is one 3.3, then 3.4, and then in the line number 104, I just again read the data of my file. Okay. Now see what is happening. Now what is happening? It just moved because I'm using a asynchronous operations. So um, it just read uh, 3.3. It just executed my first request 3.3. Then although I wanted to read the data of my file, but it never blocked my request. It never blocked my request because it knows that I'm requesting something. So it just printed 3.4 directly. Then then also it also read the data of my file, but at last. So this is all synchronous, non-synchronous. We will be discussing it later on some more, in some later on sessions. So if you people would have any doubt, you can ask it right now, or in the morning sessions, I will be taking a core concept for these sessions as well. Okay. Now, okay. So I think this much of part has been clear to you. So also you have to give it just like that, a kind of a callback function. Then this is, if we, as you people can see on the line number 104, we use a callback function, and these requests have been printed in a normal manner. Okay, as we here you are using asynchronous operations. See likewise here. Okay, so likewise here, first we used the 3.3 globally, then the request of 3.3 globally, then I wanted to read the data of my file. Then when I wanted to read the data of my file, then again 3.4 I wanted to read. I just wanted to print 3.3, 3.4. I can say then again it printed the data of my file. Then but also it just 3.3, 3.3.4 data of my file. Then again 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6. At last it did a data bump. That means it is not blocking my request. Uh, that is the most important part to understand over it. It's not blocking my request. It is not blocking my request. So that is the difference between asynchronous and synchronous operations. So now when we move now we are moving towards os.c const OS is equals to require OS. That means a kind of an operating system. That means we want to understand the third part of our, you can say, uh, a third part of file handling. It just indicates us like that. We just use the syntax, then os.cps.length, and it printed the length of my, you can say, length of my threads. That how many threads I'm using. Threads, that means your request. Okay. Now threads. What are threads? Threads are my just a request, simply Java request. Okay, so that means I'm using the fourth number of threads are four, so it is it is inbuilt in on your, you can say, file handling part. Okay, so so from now I would like to say that file handling part has been completed from my side. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on this right now or in my morning sessions as well. We do not have any problem. Now, now we will be understanding that how we would be creating a simple server over here. So how we would be creating the simple server over here. What does you mean to create a simple server? We are moving towards HTTP methods, then other things. HTTP methods. By using HTTP methods, we were creating some servers over here. Servers. We are creating a simple server on local host, and so let's understand how to create the server and how to use these HTTP methods for creating of a server. Okay. You can see I have some file. I have some one file that is known as package.js7 file. Package.js7 file means I was installing some packages over here. Okay. Just understand this. Move towards only this file package.js7 file. That means I'm installing something. That means I'm installing something. I'm creating up one more file. So is this file created manually manually or is it created, you can say on something by giving some commands. Obviously it gets created by giving some commands. Command that we have been specified over here is over that we use over here is uh, command that we use over here is npm. One minute. Npm init. Okay, just alongside your okay so just alongside your you can say uh, just terminal. You just open your terminal by using control plus under your escape key. By pressing in this escape key, you can open your terminal, and your terminal would get open with the name of your folder, name of your file, name of your folder, and what your where you have stored a particular directory. Then just you have to use just then you have to use you there you have to just use this command of npm init. You have to use this command of npm init, and these packages would get installed by oh, then see this is the name of my file, Vedant Shukla. What is Vedant Shukla? Is it the name of a file? No, Vedant Shukla is not the name of my file. It is the name of my folder. Vedant Shukla is the name of my folder over here. Folder. Vedant Shukla is the name of my folder. What is main? What is main? Main is the name of my file. It is the name of my file. So you can create it on your own. You can give it your own name. It doesn't requires any particular. You can say abstraction is not any abstraction is not there. So it is I have created like that is the name of my file. Mainly in a developer friendly manner, I would suggest you to name it as I have named it as first name.js. You can name it as index.js. So it looks more you can say index.js. Okay. So you can use it index.js because you can find it you can remember it like that index.js because what happens when developer you have to work. I mean, for example, I'm created in the name the file as index.js. So everyone knows that index.js is a basic file that everyone has created, and if anyone wants to find something on a file, so he or she another person can also just understand my code, understand that index.js file is a basic file, and I created that basic code over there like that. So it totally depends upon you. This version is the current version that I'm using. Or you are using at some 1 year later or something like that, or after me. So it would get changed. It can get changed. Okay. Then these are the scripts. Okay. Then these are the scripts from line number 5 to line number 12. These are the scripts. Under scripts, you can define your own production. So how you define your own production, I will be explaining you like that. If you just first understand these important things, that the name of my file, okay, the name of my file, name of my folder, This is my Vedant Shukla is my folder. First name Vedant Shukla is my folder, and first name.js is my file. Okay, first name.js is my file. Now, okay, okay. After doing all these things, just use okay. Just after using npm init and using see, I have used npm init over here. Like so, likewise, if you have not understood right till now, just yeah, you have to use npm init like your command like this. Okay. So I've used it like that. Then after doing all these things, you are able to. And for example, after it will be requiring that the dependencies will be requiring that you want to store more something. You can just you just want to install something more. So after pressing enter key over here, you can just or you can use it like that. Not if you're not pressing enter key, you can use it like that. You can just write yes over here, and yes, you can just install all the dependencies. Okay. So now we are in a after performing all these operations, now we are in a you can say uh, in a I can say situation that we can create our own server. Although I had told all these things in an earlier also when I was taking my first session of Node.js for some initial session of Node.js. But again, you have to install, then you have to create a new folder, you have to create a new file, then you have to create these packages. Okay, these package.json file. Okay, so if you know all these things, you can skip it towards to the new part. Now, what's const Vedant is equals to http.create server. Well, when we have to create any server, we are using these methods. But before using these methods, you have to just initiate the directory that is a kind of an inbuilt module that where you are using these methods. Because we are able to create this server with the help of HTTP methods. For example, const we have to use it const HTTP, then it's require, okay, then require, and in brackets you have to write that HTTP. Okay, and you have to like this. Okay, so this is the common syntax you people have to use it. Const HTTP, then that is equals to require, then HTTP. You have to because you have to require those methods to initialize all these. You to initialize all these servers. Okay, so so you have to understand it like that. Then I use const Vedant. That is means at Vedant I'm storing this information that I'm creating a server. HTTP dot create server. This is HTTP is a inbuilt module. HTTP is a inbuilt module. HTTP is an inbuilt module over here. Inbuilt module. Okay, it's an inbuilt module. Okay, it's an inbuilt module. HTTP is an inbuilt module over here. Then at HTTP, we used to give a callback function. We used to give a callback function also. For example, how we give a callback function, we used to give this callback function at request.response. We use request.response because we are using a new request. Under this is REQ means REQ. What is REQ means? Request. Okay, it means request, and this RES means response. Okay, RES means response. Okay, RES means response. Okay, so RES means response and REQ means request. Okay, then we have to use this callback function with the help of these flat arrow functions, and then again you have to print my. For example, I want to print my last name is Shukla. For example, this means that you want to print any you can print any information over here. It totally depends upon you at console.log. For example, I want to just initialize that yes, my server is running. So I have to just line number is just initializing that your server is running properly
Vedant,
over there.
just
So okay,
fast
okay,
time is limited. Vedant, wrap up fast time is limited.
okay. Okay. So over here that is means that your server is running, or okay, your server is running. Okay, server is running. And this response dot end means, that means you are giving a response dot end at your local host. Okay, at your local host. Okay. Then what does it means? Then the most important thing is this line number 14. This line number 14 means we at port, this is able this we are using this 8000 Vedant dot listen. That means I want my server, because this Vedant is my server over here. I've initialized that Vedant. You can create as that server. So that means these 8000 are my local, these are my ports, at which port I'm running to I will be running my server. Okay. Profile found just means, okay, profile found means that I that okay, profile found means that I have successfully created my server. Okay, successfully created my server. So this message will be displaying at your local host. At local host, this on that means inside your browser. That is very important to understand. There is one error. So there is one error also. Because these 8,000s is understand like that. These 8,000s are your when you are your home, you have some house, some doors. So actually, it's an address. 8,000 is kind of an address that at 8,000 you are using your server, or a server. At profile found, there is one error. That what kind of an error is there? I will be explaining you later. But you just there's one error also, you will be explaining you later. Response dot end, then we use response dot end, and that stores some metadata of our client. Then after all those things, it would get created. Okay, so I think we're running a shortage of time. So we have completed the file handling part right now, and as we are running with a shortage of time, so I'm wrapping up the session right now over here also. So we'll be continuing at our next session. So just remember that we have completed the file handling session, and we will be explaining you this file handling section in the later next sessions. And if you have any doubt, you can ask at the morning sessions also. So at this much of part, I have to make people understand that here we'll be using some local host also. How we have to use our local host, and what is the importance of local host. So all those things are there. So we will be understanding in our later sessions. So thank you so much. So and in the session we'll be continuing from servers only. Okay, itself. So thank you. I'm wrapping up my session. Thank you for joining, each and everyone. And you can comment it down on our YouTube section also if you have any doubts. Thank you, everyone.